6:01.
6:01, all right, we're good to go. Okay, today's Monday, July 29th, 2019. It is 6:01. This is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. We are in the library of the Needles Lodge at Camp Kiwanee. This meeting is being audio and video recorded. Those in attendance tonight are Diane Cohen,
Brian Frizzetti.
Joan Frizzetti.
Melissa Scotty.
Bill Boyle.
Lon Woodward.
and in the audience we have our beach director Emma Musette and Selectman Matt Dyer. Would anyone like to make a motion to improve the minutes from July 15th as well as the minutes from May 13th and the notes from the minutes on June 3rd?
So moved.
All those in favor, everyone second it?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Yes?
Aye.
Thanks, okay. All right, so I'm going to start signing the pages of those and pass them around in the meantime. I'm going to go a little out of order tonight,
Yeah.
but Emma go first because she has somewhere to go.
Yes.
Okay, Emma.
Alright, so for the update, we sold 127 season passes. So I was leaving today, I think we sold a few more than that, so we might be closer to 130.
Okay.
Session 2 and 3 enrollment is still happening. We had a bunch of people come in and sign up for session 2 today, so I don't know the exact numbers on those, but we're doing good with that. We're having makeup lessons for 2 rain dates from session 1 during session 2. So they can just come to any time frame, and then that way we don't have to issue refunds.
That's good.
If any rain days happen during session 3, we don't have any time for makeup just because it abuts school so closely. So if you divide the $125 by how many lessons there are, it's about $12.50 per lesson. So I would suggest refunding that per lesson missed. You guys are a little bit iffy with if there are multiple children now. I don't know how we want to go about that. There's an arrangement amount of kids per family.
Any thoughts on that?
Just fingers crossed it doesn't rain.
I know, fingers crossed it doesn't rain, but
Maybe even just offering them a credit
for next year,
Yeah.
you know?
And then that way we don't have to do a refund. And
So like a $12.50 credit per lesson.
yeah, based on the house, but like how many
Yeah.
kids is just okay.
Divided by that. Okay.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't always be the 125, but some, if there's a family of 4.
Well, that's what he was just saying. We'd divide the total.
You know, based on household and whatever.
Would you
More
be,
than they paid.
Hold on, go ahead, Matt.
would you be able to do like a special weekend session?
Well, I think most of the
The
WSIs are
instructors
going back
go back
to
to school.
college,
Okay.
so they wouldn't be here.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like cutting it really close.
Which is always going to be the case when we run the lessons that far up, which won't be the case year after year because
We'll start
we're gonna,
earlier.
we're gonna start earlier and we're going to end a little earlier so that it gives us time to do makeups.
Yes.
Has anyone signed up for that last session yet?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
When does that start?
2 weeks from today.
Oh, 2, oh, okay. I thought that,
Just real quick, how has the feedback been on lessons?
Everyone loves our new instructors, so that's good. There have been a few complaints about the shorter sessions, but I think the parents are actually starting to see that it's still worth the money they're getting. More time with instructors, they're seeing improvements in that 2 week span. So I think that moving forward will be good. It matches what women does too. They do the 2 week sessions as well.
Right. And
So-
so does Rockland, they have them at
Yes.
Kathy, the gymnast lady.
Yeah.
Kathy Corrigan's. She does them in those sessions too, and actually they're a lot cheaper than hers,
Yes.
so. All right, well, good job on putting that together, thank you.
Should we do any additional advertising? Sorry.
For lessons, yes, we have. It's on I joined all like the moms of the South Shore pages and put it out there with that, and got a lot of messages. And I had to join it as like myself. No, but from like my personal Facebook, so I've been getting all these questions. And I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I like, open it, I'm like, oh, that's for the COVID, okay. But it's been good. I think 3 of them came down and registered today, so that was nice.
What are we doing for the end of the year
That's coming up.
celebration?
I have other stuff before that.
Yep.
So I spoke to Bill about this today, but it appears that someone has released cats in the Cove area. So there are 2 kittens that are trying to catch them right now. And the animal control officer is involved, so hopefully it will not continue to be an issue, but
These are baby kittens?
they're like little baby kittens. Yeah.
Wow,
Mhm.
okay.
And then those of you have been at the cove the past like week and a half, there's a summer fish kill going on, but it's nothing to be concerned about, it's just
Lack of oxygen in the
lack of
water
oxygen in the water, so,
due to the rain and the increased heat.
yes.
And I swam at the cove for a long time yesterday.
I'm there every day, I haven't,
Checked all the ropes,
Yeah.
didn't see any dead fish or anything.
we've been trying to stay on top of it, they do float in occasionally. Last weekend we had changed the hours to be 10 to 7 because of the heat wave, and a lot of families had asked if we could start changing the hours to open earlier, just because it's easier with younger kids.
On the weekend?
On the weekends where we don't have some lessons. Even if we closed earlier, just so they make up the difference, but I think that we would see more people come on the weekends because it's hard to keep kids entertained until noon.
Right. Are they up early?
Yeah, the other thing too, and I agree, I think we should start a little earlier, because my sister couldn't come because her daughter naps at
Yeah,
like 1 o'clock. And she doesn't wanna, she wants to go longer than an hour.
Right.
you know?
yeah.
It's better for people in the morning.
Too late to do it this year.
Yeah, but
But
to
we
look
can do it
forward,
next
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
next year,
Um,
Maybe
absolutely.
10 or whatever.
10.
Yeah, that's what a lot of parents were asking, was
Yeah.
around 10.
Sure.
So,
Just for the weekends?
just for the weekend, because we have some lessons during the week, so we can't really open the beach earlier, but on the weekends where we don't have that going on in the morning,
Yeah.
Are you able to do it for the rest of this year while we have the heat wave on?
it would have to be voted by you guys to extend hours. I can't just,
Well, I know that, but
Yeah.
you're presenting it, so I mean, that's what.
The money in the budget for it? Because that's putting on 2 to
2
3
extra
extra
hours.
hours for 2 extra hours.
Well, if we
Four
just did
extra
10 to
hours.
5, then
yeah, didn't change the
if we just changed the day
amount of
structure,
hours.
Change the-
structure.
I'm fine with that.
and then that way we're not paying any extra, it's just start early, end early.
Yeah. Because usually on the weekends it starts slowing down around that time anyways. because
Well, people get ready to go out. and
Yeah.
Your lifeguards would probably appreciate it, so they could.
Yeah, they might.
Do we want to consider that for the rest of this summer? Is that going to mess you up scheduling?
It won't mess me up scheduling, but it might, closing at 5 might mess some people because it is on the passes that were open days 12 to 7, but it does say that hours can vary.
Subject to change.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna, yeah,
You think it will cause more?
Yeah.
I think people would be happy, like a lot of people would be happy with it opening earlier.
But then we'd have some
But there
people
are a
not
few
happy.
families that would be,
Upset that it's
Upset that it's
closing at
closing
5
at
instead of
5.
7.
yes.
How are we doing this year in comparison, just like season passes?
We've sold more season passes and I've been printing out like 200-day pass applications like every week and a half, so we've been doing very well in that regards, so.
So maybe that would compensate for the difference, but I mean, sometimes you have to.
But you also have to remember we had the pay increase as well, so.
Right. Well, I'm willing to entertain a motion if anybody wants to make one, or if you think we should just leave it for next year.
I'd like to say it's a good idea, but I wouldn't, again, we're worried about payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now, right, so I think we should just leave it for next year. It is essentially
Yeah.
August.
Exactly. I just figured I'd bring it up because a lot of parents were asking where we did it last
And
weekend.
you know what, when we close, we can put something on the site that says, you know, in response to numerous customer requests next year, we will be opening, we'll be
Looking to
changing the
open
weekend
Weekend
hours
hours.
from 10 to 5.
Okay.
Okay,
Or
so,
10 to
or
7.
10 to 7, depending on our budget. We'll just say
Yeah.
we'll be opening at 10. We don't know what we're closing at yet, depending on our budget.
Alright, and then Fun Day is scheduled for August 26th, so the end of the year thing, and
they
it's
start school.
the 28th. We have a rain date for Tuesday, the 27th. The fire department has confirmed they will be there with the foam pit again this year and the fire truck. And then I have some of the usual events, but I actually put it out to the new instructors if they had any fun new ideas, just to change it up a little bit. that we can do that, especially when we have so much longer to plan this year than we generally spend on it, so.
Right. Well, where we didn't do an opening day, do you want to do a rental like we did at opening day?
I think that could get a little bit hairy,
Crazy.
scary, just because last year I had like 100 kids surrounding me all day on my day, so
Okay.
it
let's
could
leave
be a little bit crazy.
Okay. What about,
The cardboard boat race, we picked Saturday the 17th from 10 to 12. And we have all the supplies for doing the cardboard, but we got it all donated last year, so.
I'm going by
Should
now.
be- Okay.
Yeah, see what I can jam in.
I went to Lowe's the other day and Home Depot, and they did take big appliance boxes for me as well,
Fabulous.
so.
Can we advertise that on the website?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Now that we have a solidified date,
Yes.
yes. And just tell them what they need to bring, if they need tape, if they want to bring.
Well, we have the tape and all that stuff because we got it last year and it ended up raining for it, so we have
Okay.
that stuff.
And also, if we can make it an event
On Facebook, yes.
And then also if we could post it on the,
I'll post all those on pages and all that.
macaroni, with the macaroni.
Yes.
Kids.
Macaroni kids.
Yeah, the calendar thing,
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So we'll see that up this week,
Yes.
hopefully, maybe by Monday?
Oh, it'll be up like tomorrow. I had the event like planned out and scheduled, I just wanted to make sure that
Okay.
it was all good with you guys. And then last year we had voted on $15 per team. I don't know if you still want to go with that. That covers just the cost of what we spent on the supplies last year and the guards.
I think that's reasonable.
I do have one other thing that I didn't write down. So Friday, there were 150 people in the water. And we just can't not have guards to cover. Luckily, I was home and around, like I just came down, spent a couple extra hours at the beach, but even then, that wasn't enough lifeguards for 150 people.
How many is?
Isn't it
It's
one guard?
supposed to be 1 guard to 25 people,
Really?
and that's like full regulations.
That's not open water
Yes.
regulations. Okay.
It depends on the insurance that covers you, and I haven't got a clear answer on what
Okay.
our regulations would be. I would assume it'd be closer to 1 to 20, but
Okay.
I don't know if we should look into maybe putting guards on call for days that might be hotter and busier, but,
For next year or for the rest of this year?
probably continuing on for this year. I mean, the guards are usually pretty good about responding if
And
it
covering
is
it?
busy, but like last Friday, no one could come in. So luckily I was around and you could come in. But
All right,
Was
so
a good amount of that too from the folks that were using the camp?
only 15 of them,
Oh, wow.
15 to 20 was what.
right, because it was Friday, a lot of them haven't been there all day yet.
It was a very busy day down there.
Well, I'm just surprised when I went down this weekend. It's a totally different crowd of faces than what comes during the week.
Yeah.
It's, people they're from everywhere.
Yeah.
So, which is nice,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's getting a lot of use.
yeah.
So, do we wanna, that will definitely, I think somebody on call is definitely something we should do for next year.
Yes.
But do we wanna institute it this year, or just see if we can fly by the seat of our pants for the rest of it? I mean, I don't
We
wanna
may
fly
not
by
have-
the seat of our pants if we don't have to.
You may not have as hot a year next year either, so I mean, this year you do have it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really think that you should go with the on-call, because you've got extra people buying passes. And you may not need them, but you may need them.
Yeah.
So then we need to discuss what the compensation will be for
For
someone
being on
on call. Because essentially,
They
You have
can't do
to pay
anything
them
with
either
it.
way.
what?
You have to pay them either way, right?
Most of the time, that's the way on-call
Yeah.
works. Yeah,
My old job, when we were on call, it was if you didn't get called in, you got paid for half of the day. And if you did get called in, you got paid for the full day. But
what if you called them in as the day went along?
that still, if you got called in, you got paid for the full day.
Okay.
But it really depends on organization to organization and how they do it, but I was just putting out there, that's how.
Is this
I
something
see it
you want to
now.
do right now, or do you think it's more discussion, or what? Do we we're just discussing, Judy, putting lifeguards on call because there was an incident last Friday where there were 150 people in the water, and Emma had to come in and take a lifeguard shift rather than the beach director.
And there were also more people than the four of us could safely guard.
So do we want to do this for next year, or do we want to put something into place for this year?
The only concern I'd have with a on-call is you don't know when to put them on call, and you're gonna put someone on call every day of the week, or are we just gonna watch the temperature when it's like 90 something, and you say, well, can someone be on call? Because I'd be concerned about paying someone half a day.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what if it closes at the last second?
Yeah.
Thunderstorms or whatever, that's my only concern with it.
And it's about.
It's very tricky with like this type of position because you never know with weather, or you never know if it's going to be busy or not, but
Okay,
we don't want to be in a position where
well,
there are too many people in the water and something happens and
It's tough calls.
we're beyond our 15 minutes, so we want to do.
Right.
Let's move forward. I mean, you gotta do it. You know,
Yeah.
it's a liability situation, it's dangerous. So if you have to do it, you gotta make the call. Just let the other guards know, I guess, because.
But now there's compensating the
Right.
our budget.
So what's the level, what's the ratio that you're comfortable with, or by law? what's-
We have to pay them whatever their rate is.
No, but what I'm saying is 150, how
And
many
it's-
people?
How many
Pool
guards do you-
regulations are 1 to 25.
1 to
And
2.
for waterfronts, it depends on insurance, but I've never gone up there answering what hours covers. Just because waterfronts are
Okay,
completely different beast, because docks, underwater structures, whatever. That being said, it's usually less than 25.
Okay, well, tomorrow's supposed to be 93 degrees.
It's supposed to be the hottest day.
Yeah.
So
And then the rest of the week is in the 80s.
Do you feel
And then next week it's
like
supposed
during
to
the
be.
week you would hit that?
It's supposed to be what?
Next week is supposed to be. the
Or is it
same.
more?
It depends, it really depends week to week. There are weekdays that we're really busy because it's really hot.
what about just for a standard right now, on the weekends, you're saying, what is the average that you're getting for?
Weekends swing completely. It's either slow or it's.
Totally weather dependent.
Yeah.
So what about as a basis, when you see that something hits 90 degrees, you call a guard and say, in 3 days, it looks like it's gonna be 90 degrees, could you be on call?
I usually send out a text to them and I ask them to send me, because it obviously is after I do scheduling, and I ask who would be around for the weekend and if they'd be willing to be on call for the weekend. Or the days that it's supposed to be hot.
Can we continue with that for the rest of the year, and then next year have a set policy that if there is going to be a heat wave, we're usually getting weather at least 5 days in advance.
Yeah.
It's fairly accurate, like 48 hours, they say. That's
Within, right,
Yeah,
so just keep going with what you're doing,
Okay.
because the rest of the week after tomorrow is supposed to be in the 80s.
so,
And then we get to that 70s,
Okay.
so.
so the ratio moving forward is 1 to 25? Because, I mean, for the business plan, we should maybe think about that.
If that's for a pool regulation, we really need
Yeah.
to find out
What our
open
insurance
water
allows.
and what the insurance says.
Because we might be like 1 to 20 or.
Or
Yeah.
we might be 1 to 40, who knows?
No, it would be over pool regs. Nothing is never over pool regs.
Something to think about,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I have just one more suggestion. Can we get a printout, please, of all of the, who you have down there for workers, for lifeguards, WSIs?
Yeah.
Along with their rate of pay?
Yeah, I have it all on whatever, so I can just print out
Okay.
Or I can email
So that
it to
we
you.
have that to go back into it. So in February, when we need to set these rates and do everything, we'll at least have that paperwork ready to go.
a,
right.
yes.
Okay, thank you. That's the only thing I have for code.
Anything else?
Oh, that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Emma. Have a good night.
You too.
Travel safely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Safe.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Take that thing with you. Okay, department head update. Go ahead, Bill Boyle.
Concert series, yay.
Yay.
You guys wanna, so this is our first show. So we've got Haley Savella Band, Katie Jones is opening for them. So we've got the link, everything set up for Unipay. Haven't gotten any reports from them yet, but just based on looking at the Facebook tracking and everything for the event itself, So it appears that we've had 70 some odd engagements, 10 people that have responded that they're going to the event, and an overall reach of just under 5,000 people so far.
Okay.
I've got some of the flyers up, Mike's House of Pizza, the Shaw's, a few other spots, and I'm just gonna, canvass some other, other grocery stores and stuff. Get
Let me know if
signed
you
up.
need help.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I do have extras if anybody wants to take a few and throw them up, awesome.
I actually was gonna mention, on Wednesday, I'm coming to a trivia night here. I'd like to plug it. I'm gonna ask the library folks if I can plug it.
I'd like to put some down at the Cove as well, for the.
Oh, you mean like have an actual?
Have these, yeah.
Yeah, we do have it posted, but we can certainly have,
Just a few down there when people buy a day pass or something,
Yeah.
if they're not.
It's at the town hall right across from the from the collector's office, because people are paying taxes to do.
oh, it's already on the board there, they
Well,
said
yeah, but there's a table right outside of not the clerk's office, but the tax assessors, is actually two tables, where you pay your tax bills.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Okay, with staff there, people will
Oh,
take
yeah,
it.
they always have.
And also
stairs.
down the bottom, well, I know there's not any more meetings until August 20th, so it would be after this, so it wouldn't do any good to put it downstairs.
yeah, and I got
Select-
permission for this week to use the board out in front of the town hall.
Nice.
Oh, good.
So I'll go there tomorrow and I'll put all the letters up and get that.
Are any of you going? Anybody?
I have 2 tables.
Awesome. So the seating, I don't know if we're doing tables or theater style, it depends on,
As long as I can keep people together, you know how
Yeah.
people get, we're like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
like, we're 40-something, so we need to sit.
I mean, it'll likely,
Alright, that's how it goes, I guess, they like complain, right?
you know, if we get a week out and it looks like it's not gonna be absolutely jam-packed, then we'll probably go with either tables or a combo, just so that way, again, we fill up the room one way or another.
Okay.
But, I mean, I know for Haley and, her following, they're excited for the show. She's pretty pumped about playing here because she's seen the pictures of the venue.
Which one is Katie?
The one on the left,
Okay. And this must be Katie
that's
Jones?
Katie. And then that's Needle Sludge. No. So I did talk to Mary and I went ahead because she said we didn't have to get approval. And they had requested we do free admission for kids 12 and under. So we're just gonna roll with that because they said sometimes they see with families, they can't get them out to the shows because they've got to worry about babysitters and things like that for the kids, so they can bring the kids along with them and
I'll probably bring my daughter.
That's fine, but do we want the kids, I'm saying, we might want to have just someone walking the grounds, the kids might try to go into the cove or.
Oh, well, the kids, they got, I mean, if they leave property, then they get.
I think just make an announcement, just make
Yeah.
an announcement, please make sure that we stay within the premises of.
The lodge.
I mean, yeah, my hope is that the parents aren't gonna show up and then just say, hey, kids, go out and just,
That's your hope. Okay.
but we, okay.
No, I know,
Announcement.
I'm just saying only because I've seen it happen in school events,
Yeah.
Family event that the parents are going to, like an auction night
And then
or
they're like,
something.
hey, kids, go play in the
And the
cabins.
kids, yeah, they say go play on the playground.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
All right, well then,
It's just something I want us to be aware of.
Yeah, so like if it, in the event that it does happen, we have an answer, like a.
should we staff a secondary caretaker to be on kid yelling duty?
Well, I mean, they'll probably set it out on the porches and stuff like that, but I
Right.
mean, you really need someone out there to
Yeah,
keep
you
an
want-
eye
you
on
are gonna
it.
need someone
Kids
to
want
monitor,
to be
just
on.
to be safe,
Yeah.
you know.
So we can, yeah, I mean, depending, I know usually for events we have a caretaker, or maybe we'll have 2 just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Right.
I guess, yeah, I shouldn't underestimate where I don't have kids, I don't know.
Yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, all right, so yeah, that
Does
makes
it make
sense.
sense maybe to have this room, a couple round tables in here with color?
For some activities for the kids.
Like we have a bunch of board games and, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's always a good.
That's actually a nice idea.
And like
Not bad.
coloring or.
Yeah,
We
we could,
need to have
Like even-
someone
like
there
in
to
this
watch them. Well,
well, yeah, we could have a caretaker that's just on kind of roaming duty to go around, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously,
Caretaker out there.
It'll be independent activities. We're not gonna have
No, no, no,
a
no.
staff member right there doing,
No.
but
okay.
no, we can throw, yeah, some coloring books and whatnot in here. Obviously like quiet stuff, because if we got a show on, we don't want the band competing with a bunch of screaming children.
Right, exactly.
Um,
Yes,
My train of thought on it is, this is just my thought on it, is if there's another room to send your kid,
they're
You're
going
gonna
to.
send the
if
kid.
they're gonna send the kid, and then no one's watching the kid necessarily, and that's when the kid's gonna get a note in the camp. You know, in my experience, when there's a program here at the camp,
Yeah,
and kids come, the kids are right there with the adult. The
okay,
adult isn't gonna say, oh, Junior, go play in the cabins.
okay.
That's just been my experience over the last decade, is I haven't really seen kids go
And
out.
I don't have that experience, so I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm speaking on a different level.
Yeah,
So are we not worried about this then?
I personally would be.
Okay.
But I think
Well,
once-
I think it's good to at least that we'll have extra staffing just to be
Just to
safe.
monitor.
Yeah,
Okay,
but maybe what we can do is encourage, depending on whether we go with tables or theater staff, we'll leave room in the front, because obviously kids are shows who love to dance.
right.
So we'll make sure there's ample room for them
That's a good
to
idea.
tire themselves out, and maybe that would just encourage them to stay too and not wander.
Okay,
Maybe we can get like glow sticks or something, I don't know, kids like waving around.
they do. So do those fellows.
Right.
All right.
So there's that in terms of the Constitution, so we're
Yep, I'm sorry.
on par.
Do you have something about this concert?
Yeah, I was wondering, if you go to the regular campkiwanee.com page,
Yep,
I guess this section where it says Cranberry Cove right now can be changed. Is it possible to maybe take her and put her on our front page, so when people do go to that page? it's-
Well, I can, but then, I know you guys wanted Cranberry Cove on there, so if you don't care about having it right there anymore, I can switch that out.
Oh, this
I just
is-
can't have them both.
Right, no, I know that, but it's more of like a rotation, like originally, I know John had originally put you up there,
Yeah.
and then Cranberry Cove is now kind of on its way.
Concert.
If you have a concert, maybe it'll take up 2 weeks, and if you want, you can pull it right down and.
Yeah, I mean,
The next event.
The next
or
event.
yeah, I was trying to put it up there with the Cranberry Cove, and it wouldn't let me lay it out the way I wanted, so I just said, forget it, and I made a new tab. But
Did you reach out to John or anything? Because he might have different ideas of doing, you could, if you wanted to, you could probably take the picture slideshow out, but I don't know how this whole thing
Yeah.
is set up.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to mess with what's on there too much, just because, I mean, the media itself, like, there's good pictures.
Oh, yeah, there is.
But I'll change out that Cranberry Cove slide, and then that's why I added that concerts at Kiwanee tab.
Yeah.
Just because it would make it easier than people having to search through, okay, is it under home, about recreation, so I just said, we'll have a literal.
Yeah, 'cause I was looking through that, and I'm like, we have an awful lot of menus.
There are, yeah, and I was looking at it to see if there's some that we can combine, and maybe I can get creative with it, but
Right, so.
I didn't want to have it get lost in a separate menu tab where now you're figuring, is it under recreation, is it under whatever?
okay, so does it make sense to put her picture somewhere up there? Or just even
I
a
think so.
picture of this?
Well, I'll throw that on that little Cranberry Cove thing, so that it'll just be another area where
Right.
that's getting
And
advertised.
then when this is over, we could go
Go
and
back
put
to
pictures from the cove this year at the cove up on the
Oh,
site.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
we
think
could do a
that-
different, like, a little slide thing.
And the events and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and are you gonna talk to John about that, or you can get that handled?
I can mess with it. I mean, if I end up hitting a hiccup, I'll certainly call him, but like with
And then there's also our, isn't there a tech guy for the town?
Ryan.
Brian,
Yeah.
Multi-Event?
Yeah, if there's a huge issue, I know he's seasoned with that too.
Okay.
So the good thing is, so these are all printed here, so we didn't have to pay for the printing. I did it all from the here, so we'll save some money there.
Not in ink.
Not
Okay.
named, but, it looks like, I know you guys gave me up to $1,300, it's only gonna be 12 between the band and the opener, so
Fabulous.
we're good there, so we technically saved some money on that.
Okay.
And then once we've had the event, and we've got the invoices and all that, we can submit the paperwork to the cultural grant to get a reimbursement of, I believe it's $425. We got a cultural grant to do a concert,
Excellent.
so.
From,
It was through, I'll have to look, I believe it was through conservation, but I'll double check this.
Josh?
It was called, it's in the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was Becky had reached back out to me, she's like, hey, by the way, did you know that?
Okay, great.
And I said, well, that's great, because we're looking at having a show.
That's good. Okay.
So there's that. In terms of filming. So I don't have a huge update in terms of the paranormal one,
Did
but
they,
as all weird things happen, I got off the phone with the paranormal people and then we had a scout come in that they're actually looking at using the Frontier Cabin and a few other spots for the camp. They're shooting a Netflix movie. So initially it just started up, they were just kind of scouting, they've been back. I think today was the 4th time to come back with different teams from the production to check it out.
Cool.
And it looks like, I mean, the amount of times they've emailed me about the schedule and all that, I mean,
they're serious
They
about
wanted
using
to.
our venue?
I have had the woman reach out to Mary as well, because it's getting closer to the stage where they're gonna have to sit down,
Talk to the town.
talk to the town. We essentially got a location agreement, you know, town council reviewed the location agreement, they sent something back to me, which I'll forward along to them. But I believe so long as the paperwork can be hashed out and essentially the rental agreement, it's looking pretty good. And so they'd be looking
Exciting.
right now, August 28th through the 30th. Those are their filming days, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They may also be looking to come in possibly Monday and Tuesday for some setup, so again, that's stuff that'll get hashed out, but it's possible that they're gonna be kind of renting grounds for 5 days.
That's great.
And
What's the compensation?
I don't know yet. I think at the worst, it's gonna be whatever we would rent the grounds up with.
Right.
But, because this is not a camping situation, we don't have to abide by
Yeah.
that.
Well, I would say, I mean, I'm not negotiating, but, you know, we're technically losing business, technically.
Technically.
Because I just went through this with, they're filming that like Ryan Reynolds movie in Boston. And they redid all the storefronts and stuff like that, and the movie company actually paid for the businesses to put signs up saying, we're still in business during shooting and all this kind of stuff. And they compensated them.
Yeah, I mean,
They were talking about putting in, they were talking about using in front of the boathouse, correct?
yeah, so there's gonna be a scene, one of these big scenes they have that would utilize the boathouse. There's talks about them building a dock for down there because they want to have a dock. Now, part of it has turned into that they might just rent a dock, float it down there, do what they have to do, and then.
Which would be the simplest thing to do, I
Yes,
imagine.
so that's probably what's gonna happen, but in the beginning talks, they were like, well, we'll just build a dock and then if you guys want it. And I was like, well, oh, that's what you guys are saying. But it looks like they might just rent something, utilize it while they need it, and then send it out.
I'm just saying, we could take advantage.
Yeah.
I think we should take advantage of that. No, I absolutely do, but let's see what town council has to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's not,
Recommendations.
you know, Warner Brothers or anything like
No,
that,
it's
so it's.
small, it's independent.
So, yeah, we don't know, you know, what their budget is, but I know that especially with how much they want to utilize the facility, I'm sure we.
So they're talking about just that, the boathouse area, the Frontier Cabin?
Frontier Cabin, possibly something down by the cove, but I don't know. I think
Which is
that,
fine because
Well, it's gonna
it's
be
closed anyway.
and part of it, it might be only that they need a night shot down there, so it would be closed anyway if
Right.
they need it. Initially, they were thinking about using part of the lodge too up here, but when they were kind of scouting it, it didn't kind of jive with the storyline or whatever it was. But it looks like right now, Frontier Cabin, the Cove, Boathouse, and then honestly Friday where we don't have a wedding, they might have like a post party in the lodge, so.
Okay.
So as it stands,
No
it's not solidified, however,
It's hopeful.
yeah, it's hopeful.
Okay.
The paranormal people, that's still up in the air,
Have
but
they reached back out to you since you reached out to them?
we had a phone conversation, they sent me their location agreement, and I just need to reach back out, I had sent it along to Mary.
Okay.
I didn't get anything back from them, but what I may do is see if she wants to just utilize the location agreement they sent me back for the other folks, because I would imagine it.
You'd have
covers
town
us.
council look at it. and
Yeah,
then-
so I'll have, and I'll just see what they want to do, but, I mean, I think there's more promise with Netflix anyway
Yeah,
than the other
but it
path,
still can't hurt, like you guys said.
yeah, it's, you know, it's press.
It's freaky and I won't be there. Okay.
So yeah, that's,
Did you have something, Joe?
Well, I was just gonna say, how about where the fishing area is that goes between, down on the front here from the cove to where the steps are and everything else, because they come back up those steps and come to the front.
What about it?
Well, can't they utilize that?
Well, they're just gonna, for them themselves, like,
They'll tell us what they want.
it's
They'll tell
the,
us, right?
well,
They
yes.
don't care.
We don't tell them.
it's the boathouse area, because for them, it fits into
Their storyline.
the storyline and the scene that they need to shoot. So, I mean, yes, they'll end up utilizing that area because they'll probably have some ATVs that they'll bring equipment down to the front. Be more than likely, they're probably gonna end up
They're gonna
paying to
know,
rent the facility. or
they're
something.
gonna know what they need, so.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're gonna bring their checkbook, so
They should.
that's what matters.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, is there anything else? Any more discussion on this? Okay, moving on. Drama Kids, 2019-2020, we're looking at a new contract?
Yes, so the session is September 2019 through May 20th. So yeah, starts September 16th, ends May 11th.
Okay, are they still going on Mondays?
It's still, yeah, it's Mondays, 5:30 to 6:30, tuition. Or such a distance, okay.
You
Okay.
like the choir dance?
Yeah, so it's just different days, same thing, same 20%, all that. So I guess,
Do we need a vote on that? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to renew the contract for Drama Kids for the 2019-2020 season with the traditional contract in the 80-20 split.
So moved.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Melissa, thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Then
The bridal.
bridal shows by Kelly, date change. Do you have info on that or is that John?
yeah, so she's looking at a date change of March 29th, which is actually 2020?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay, so March 29th, 2020, 12 to 4.
Okay.
So that, I guess we just need what, the motion to move her to that date? Okay.
We should have pictures then of what the camp, March is like the ugly month around here. So we really do need to have pictures of other
Just because things
people's.
aren't in bloom and.
Yeah, there's not, the trees are barren
Yeah,
and it's mucky. And so we really need to show people what the place looks like all through the other seasons. What it's gonna look like spring,
Yeah.
summer and fall.
my understanding too is we'll have a booth set up at the event, correct?
Right,
In addition to obviously being the venue, but.
right, but
Yeah.
our booths should show all four,
Okay.
yes.
My recommendation in going off your idea is to print off these pictures on nice big glossy, 24 by 24 foam board.
Right,
And then this way, in the wintertime, when things kind of slow down for you, Billy, is, start going to the bridal expo up in Boston.
right.
And then you'd be able to bring these things with you, so we're not just waiting for people to come to us, but we can start going to people and really bring Camp Kiwanee to Boston and Rhode Island, Connecticut, wherever. And I think that might be a wise investment out of the advertising budget.
And do we have, so this year, we must have people that have had weddings here, obviously this summer. Do we have many weddings in the spring? Maybe we could reach out to some of those people if they'd share some pictures with us.
We wouldn't be till like May, but we could do like November ones as well. August, September, October, November.
We need pictures from all of those. So, and we must have some summer weddings. Yeah.
Usually the photographers do
I mean,
something.
we've had some people tag us in some of their pictures.
Well, right, as long, but do we have pictures that we can do, like you said, blow them up and, okay, great.
Yeah. I mean, whether we have them for each season might not be,
Well,
but
maybe not
if
for
we can-
winter, but
Winter's a beautiful month.
it
Or
is, winter
season.
season, it is, if you get the right kind of snow and there are no trees falling anywhere.
Don't make that.
Okay, but yeah, as many positive reflecting shots of the camp in all the seasons is what we should have. So let's just make sure we have that.
Sounds good.
Do we have to
Okay?
get that approved by the board of selectmen?
Yes. The date change for the bridal shows. So would someone like to make a motion for bridal shows by Kelly to come on 3/29/2020, 12 to 4, as opposed to our previous date, which I think was in
November 10th.
Yeah, November.
He also should be giving them the contract or whatever, however the write-up is gonna be too.
It'll be the
Is
same
that-
write-up on it.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think
do they
anything's
have
changed.
one? Did they ever get one?
We don't get one until it gets approved by the board of selectmen.
Right, they're not gonna give us a write-up until they're sure they're having it. Just to, because I
So
would
if we get this approved in the next week or two, then we can get whatever we need. from
Get the
there.
write-up for
When
advertising.
it's created, she's gonna share it with us, it's just a matter of waiting for approval. We can't put it on our site if it's not approved by the board.
Exactly, no, we can't put anything on the site until it's approved.
So this is also getting touched upon by Todd, because we had an issue where you're giving something away for free, and we talked about maybe using advertising.
Advertising, right, the line
And so
item, the line item on the budget,
And
right.
kind of helps.
And I think you talked to Todd about, didn't you talk to Todd about this?
About the bridal show itself,
Yeah, where we were using a line item of advertising in exchange for using our venue.
'Cause she's
We're not
full-time.
charging her.
I don't remember that specific conversation. I'm going to see him tomorrow, so I'll bring it up
We are
again.
charging her the caretaker fee.
The caretaker fee, but we're waiving the rental fee, right?
She's still paying for the fee of the caretakers here though.
Right,
She's not a nonprofit. That's set up a nonprofit.
right. But she is paying the caretaker, and I think we're gonna use the line item of
Right.
advertising in our budget. So we just wanna make sure.
I don't know what this is.
Okay.
Okay, so, again, I'm looking to entertain a motion for someone to make regarding bridal shows by Kelly, changing the date from November to March 29th, 2020.
So moved.
Anyone second?
Second,
Thank you. All those in favor? Okay, great. So that will go to the Board of Selectmen. It's too late to go on tomorrow's meeting, so,
they don't have it tomorrow.
oh, they
The
don't?
next meeting is not until August 20th.
August 20th, so it'll probably go on their August 20th meeting. Let's
There's
hope.
plenty of time to talk to Todd.
Right.
It doesn't hurt to have the extra, the guy with the money. I think he's behind you.
Okay, what's this? This looks interesting. Hanson Youth Cheer Camp, August 2019.
Yeah, so I'm working with them to figure out if the dates work. I know one of the dates, it's a Wednesday, there's another event in the morning? The blood, okay, so the dates they're looking at their camp, one of the days coincides with us having a blood drive here.
Which we approved a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So, what we were looking to get approved, so long as the dates work for them, is that, again, because they're a nonprofit, they're raising money for Hanson Youth Cheerleading, that we'd be able to give them the facility for the cost of the caretakers per day. So they'd be looking, I think, at like a 3 or 4 day camp.
Were they looking to use the lodge?
They were looking to use the lodge, so that what they would do is set up their mats. It'd just be specifically
I
inside.
don't know if they could do anything with the pavilion instead.
I don't think they have the clearance, because they're gonna be throwing people around, so they need the head clearance
And the AC.
and the AC.
How many hours are they doing?
It's 9 to 3, I think it's Monday to Thursday. And so the only day that
Yeah.
it follows up is Wednesday with the blood drive.
Blood drive.
So we could potentially have them Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And again, I was looking into this for, because they initially had a location picked, but then she said, oh, I totally forgot that we might be able to use the camp, so I said, I'll look into it and see what we can do. So I think it's a way, and again, it's a Hanson sport, support the
Absolutely, we
community.
want to support it.
So I think if we're able to do that and work out that schedule with them and, maybe just have them off-site on Wednesday because of the blood drive, and we can get them the 3 out of the 4 days.
Maybe they can practice somewhere. Brian, did you?
For the blood drive, we had them at the gun club. And generally, they just take the van, they park it somewhere, people, they're kind of self-standing.
They do it
Because
online.
they come inside of there, so they do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours one's completely different.
What was the blood drive, what were those hours?
Oh, God.
Wednesday.
It's-
No, I know.
I gotta look, but my assumption, because the
It's
ones
usually
I've been
all
to,
day thing.
it's usually starting around 10 a.m. and goes till,
3, 4.
3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I can double check the times, but it's essentially the same time that the cheerleaders would need it.
So if they want to use, as Joan suggested, if it's a nice enough
They
day,
would go to
pavilion,
pavilion one day.
do it out there one day?
Yeah, I'll see what works for them, if that works.
And what day is this? August, what?
That's the blood drive. It's the 19th to the 22nd.
It's too bad the beach is so.
And their hours would be, I'm sorry, I didn't write it down.
Which, the cheer camp or
Cheer camp,
the cheer camp is 9 to 3,
okay.
and that would be the 19th to the 22nd.
Yeah.
So the 21st, the Wednesday, is when we have the blood drive, 9 to 4.
9 to 4, yeah. But they might be able to use, like I say, if we empty it out of everything that's in the pavilion.
Well, he's talking about if they're doing their routines, they're gonna.
Yeah.
They're very.
Yeah, they were
That's
doing,
high.
No, it's not.
It's not high enough to throw anybody, but it's high enough to practice
Right, to do
routines.
your
you can practice
Without-
routines without,
So let's at least put that out there to them.
For one day, that they might be able to limit the heights that they use.
Right.
It's like-
And just a quick question, because I want to wrap this up, but, any possibility of those blood drive, does the blood drive need the entire lodge? They do, that's spread out.
resting area too. Okay.
So do they use this as their resting area?
The whole lodge use that, not the library, there's no room in the library, you would think, for the kids, yeah.
No, but they could certainly practice a dance routine or something else like that in here too. So I just want to offer them that.
yeah. So I'll reach out to Kelly, who's kind of organizing everything, and I'll chat with her about
Okay.
kind of what we've got for the dates. And again, I can look at what they cost, but it's essentially what the cost of 2 caretakers per day.
It's $75 a day, we do $15
Okay,
for the rate, 5 hours a day,
yeah, that's not bad.
75.
So $75 a day, I mean, that's,
That's pretty good.
yeah.
Okay.
We just have to get it approved by the board of selectmen.
So we can approve it, or they can.
To waive the
motion it here and
fees
then-
and pay.
Okay,
Right. So, would anybody like to?
It's August 19th.
It's August 19th through the 22nd.
So we don't.
No, we don't.
20th.
I'm sorry?
And we won't be meeting till the 20th.
Right, that's what I was just thinking.
so
That's right. Oh, thank you.
how would,
But,
Well, it's up to the chairwoman, if she would like to call a quick meeting, because there's a couple of things right now that you guys kind of,
would like to get on
I mean, all it has to be is a quick, get 3 of the selectmen in there to approve it. And
okay, well then I will do that.
I'll reach, you want me to reach out to Laura, just
Yeah.
see if she can do that?
She's away right
Way
now.
this week.
She's away for like.
Oh, that's right, she is a,
Yeah, for
I'll
2
reach out to the vice chair.
Okay.
Who's vice chair?
Okay.
Kennedy, okay.
so yeah, we'll find out, in the meantime, obviously, I'll make sure
Maybe
that,
sort of switch roles.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that works with the camp too, because if, if we're calling a special meeting and these guys don't end up using the facility.
I'm away next week, I'm leaving Friday, the 2nd through the 9th. So I can meet with them this week or when I get back after the 9th. We'll do it right on the,
Can't Bill meet in her behalf?
Well, you can
Doesn't matter, right?
you can just give me the paperwork, I mean, just let me know what you want.
Oh,
and can
that's
he
cool.
do it?
And Billy can do it, or, you guys don't necessarily have to be there.
So, yeah, I
don't know what you're talking
Let's
about.
make a special meeting that you can meet with a quorum of the Board of Selectmen to
Cool.
get all of this approved so people can have what they need to have.
Okay, and so is there additional stuff aside from this youth cheerleading camp? Because my only worry is that if they decide to not do it here, and we would have them call a special meeting for the event that doesn't meet, or isn't gonna happen. But is there other stuff on the,
Not that we need to have before the August 20th meeting, because the bridal show's by Kelly,
okay,
that's not till next March. And
so if I get you in, by like
drama.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
Wednesday,
just,
is
yeah,
that enough?
just
Okay.
send it to me tomorrow. You know, it's not a huge rush, I don't think we'd be able to meet by the end of this week, but
Yeah,
just put it on
just
the calendar.
okay,
Okay,
cool.
and then the holiday, any more discussion on that, by the way? For
The
the
whole,
chair?
no.
No.
Well, the cheer thing was approved, right, to go to,
Yes.
okay, cool.
Didn't we approve it?
No.
Oh,
No,
no, I don't think
I
it
thought you said, no? Okay, then, I'm gonna entertain a motion, I thought we did. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewind that tape. Okay, I would like to have someone make a motion to allow the Hanson Youth Cheer Camp here on August 19th through the 22nd, waiving the rental fee, paying for 5 hours of caretakers per day, at a cost of $75 per day. And using the pavilion as well, if
So-
needed. Okay?
So moved.
Thank you, Joan.
Second.
Okay, Brian. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, all right, and you'll be taking care of the meeting for that. All right, holiday rentals.
That, I
Brian,
think
what-
that's right, yeah.
Oh, that's you.
It was actually John, but he's not here. Of
Margaret.
course. Through talking to John, I was discussing, different dates, and I noticed on the website that we don't rent out for weddings or anything during holidays. And he had just told me that particular day that he pretty much doubled his fee to work the 4th of July for a wedding. And he said that he's been trying to get the last 15 years off, and he just can't do it. That there's a huge calling for certain holidays. I don't know, he might be a little more in the loop than I.
That people get married over 4th of July weekend?
Yeah, to get married on the 4th of July. And he said that what he would recommend to do is you could do a simple upcharge of $500 on, say, that holiday, or if there was another holiday. So obviously, he said no Christmas, no New Year's, but there might be a few holidays that you can slip in there, advertise for.
So like Memorial Day, Labor Day.
Probably Labor Day, how about Memorial Day? That might be a tough one, or it might not.
Memorial Days are already celebrated on a Monday, so it would be, so good.
And he seemed to think it would be a good, especially the 4th of July, to him would be a good pitch, because you have a lot of military people
Okay.
that are up there. And it was just an idea that kind of,
New Year's Eve,
right.
New Year's Day.
I think it's, when the town's
What was his
closed,
day?
holidays, staff is supposed to be not working as well.
I'm sorry?
When the town of Hanson employees are
closed.
closed, and employees technically don't work either.
So
Now,
New
is
Year's
that a
Day
union
is
thing,
one.
or is that an hour?
No, that's a town, if you're a town employee.
Right, because everything is closed, but
And
this is,
since we're a municipality, we fall under that.
Would that be something we might be able to go in front of wage personnel? Or is it a bylaw? I mean,
Well, I think for your caretakers aren't unionized, right?
Correct.
No,
So I think what it would come down to is like if Billy had to be there for whatever reason, Billy, you're not part of the union, sorry. But what I'm saying is, they get the day off, but if they want to work,
Right,
you'd be paid on time and a half.
That's why I
You know,
tried to
that's
say-
how I work on 4th of July, is I get time and a half, although I have the day off.
That's why I said you could throw an upcharge in it. So you're talking about with the book, you might be able to hit $5,000, you jump to 5,500, then you're at least getting that.
okay, so it's something we would have to take before the Board of Selectmen
Right.
for next year.
Hmm.
It's not anything I would want to push in through that meeting about the camp, the cheerleading
Right.
camp. Okay,
would you need it for the October meeting or for the?
would it have to go to town meeting or just
Would be-
selectmen?
No,
It
it'd
just
be-
have to go to
Because
selectmen.
you're just changing a rate.
It'd be
Right.
January's wage and personnel, right?
Yes.
Or does it have to, it doesn't have
You
to
wouldn't have
wait
to
till?
go, you wouldn't have to.
To go through wage and personnel, it's more of a
Just
policy.
Just a policy, just a
Right.
change of rate. Okay.
So that would apply to administrators that we're not allowed to have work as well. Like yoga, they can't come in when there's a holiday, so you have to change that as well.
Right, it's something that we would have to consider. If we allow it for some, we'd have to allow it for others, but we're allowing it for some with an upcharge,
Right.
which would be the same if we allowed it for anybody, I would assume. Does anybody have any other thoughts, comments, questions, concerns on it that they'd like to discuss? Matt?
I think, I mean, what I would look at before bringing it to the Board of Selectmen
Right.
is, has there been any inquiries in the past to get married on,
4th of
He said-
July or
he
any of
said
these
holidays.
holidays?
Doesn't it say we can't, doesn't it say we're closed?
It's already on
Yeah,
that.
it's already said we're
It already says we're closed on all the municipal holidays.
okay.
So we don't
But
have.
it wouldn't hurt to just, I don't know if you know off the top of your head if you've had anything. And then the only other thing I can just see from the Board of Selectmen's standpoint is they didn't want to up the rates. And I understand where you're coming from, where it's a holiday, you're paying time and a half. I just think you might have trouble there, so I just would,
Though, again, I'm only going by what John says, and he
Right.
says it's huge money, even for, the regular other venue places, he said that they get more, they drop $2,000,
right.
and again, he doubles his rate.
And we have to respect that opinion because he does really know the market. Yes, Joan?
We also do the 4th of July for the Cove, so I mean, we are open technically.
This is true. Good point.
Okay. So we were open for the Cove, there's no reason why we couldn't be open for a wedding up here.
That is a good point. We are
And
paying
it
the
doesn't-
lifeguards and they are staff as well.
It's
So-
not good research.
Okay, so is it something that we want to discuss at a future meeting during
In
policies?
February, I'm going to do it.
Okay,
That's where the weights are done.
yes?
Yeah, you have to, yeah, I mean, that is a policy change technically.
Right, it would be a policy change.
Yeah.
Would we need selectmen guidance on this? Would they not let it happen, you think, just because we are a municipality? I mean,
No, the only reason why the offices are closed is because no one's gonna be working.
well, no one's gonna be working because, it's closed. I mean, it's
Right.
kind of circular
It used to
reasoning.
be a time when
Um,
the stores weren't open either, now they're open, now they used to open at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so
Now
I mean, everything is.
Everything's different.
Everything
Okay,
is changed.
Let's revisit it in February, definitely. And, I don't want it to be a mandatory thing, I also,
No, it doesn't mean it can be.
no, but I mean, as far as, people working it, and they would get time and a half, and that's why they would get the upcharge.
I mean, I think it's a good argument to say that, we're trying to increase revenue, we're trying to do what we can.
And that's
to-
a reasonable way to do it, because we're not
Yeah.
raising the rates everywhere, there's a reason for that. So, okay, we can discuss that in February during policies and procedures. Okay. All right, so that's holiday rentals. Any old business with miscellaneous correspondence? Have we heard from anybody this week?
Well, this just came in, talking about the October 29 special town meeting warrant. So we have until Friday, August 16th to get any warrants in. And I was just gonna suggest that we put in a warrant to ask for the money that was not appropriated at the beginning of the year. So whatever that, it was, I think Sherman said 95,000 or what have you. I guess it comes down to, if we do the warrant, do we go in asking for that full amount? Do we try to find a happy medium? I mean, I guess we can kind of figure out what the amount is, but knowing that we have limited time to put that in.
Can we write the warrant
Yes.
to say, sorry, John,
Okay, no.
you're chomping at the bit
No,
there, go ahead.
no, I was gonna go into that, the 95, but did we ever find out where the 75,000 that we got from free cash this past year for 2019 went? That's a question that you need to ask Todd. And then,
Go where, like, did it come to us or
oh,
like?
it was definitely approved for us to get $75,000. That was at the, in the last meeting.
At the Maytown meeting.
Right, that was an article and that was passed.
We don't know if we.
So we need to know where it went.
Yeah, where was it deposited? That's kind of a nice chunk of change.
Well, that's what I'm saying, what was it used for? And is there anything left from that we could go on to, but I interrupted you and I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
got
I apologize,
going on
it's
before
fine.
that. Plus, supposedly, and I've got it written and I gotta find it where it is, but I
I'm
was
sure
reading,
you will.
I was reading notes this week and trying to collect everything and put everything together. But supposedly, we're okay until through March. And the transfer station got enough money to carry them through till October. So there was 2 different,
October of this year.
October of this year.
Yeah, we're okay for March of 2020.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, so there, that doesn't leave us, but really the last couple, April, May, June, 3 months that we have to worry about making sure we have enough to carry us through, so.
So we need to ask about the 75. Now, my question about the 95 that was not appropriated, it was my understanding that the money was being used to, for for the schools. That was what I thought, because they needed to settle that budget with teacher contracts and staffing, just so that so many people can get
That's what I
cut.
used to do.
Where is our
Okay.
financial sheet that says what we currently have? That is something that we should have access to, right?
We do.
What?
No, I mean,
Like what's in the kitty?
Well, yeah, so, you know, that financial sheet should include the deposit of $75,000. It should technically be there, or is it one general sheet that the town holds?
No.
Do we have our own?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Yes,
so-
and we have access to it anytime we want. Todd has said he would give it to us anytime, to any one of us.
It would be
For
important
the
for the
asking.
business plan, to be honest with you, because we need to have a basis for, so can we get, because the business plan meeting we have is on the 13th. so-
Right, and maybe when we see that, maybe there'll be a clue as to whether or not that $75,000 went in.
'Cause-
Okay, but my question was, it's my understanding that that money went toward the schools. So if we're asking for it to be appropriated to us, is it even still there anymore, or is it in an upcoming budget? Are you talking about, asking them for $95,000 from a new budget, from a new fiscal year?
Well, no, it would just be, because again, the way Todd kind of explained it to me is, you know, here's what you guys requested, here's what FinCom, whoever advised, and here's what was agreed upon, and it was $90,000 or $95,000 less than kind of the advised amount.
And
Todd
then-
said, now that's not saying that you guys can't get that money, he said you have to go back and essentially show, this is why we're requesting, this is why we need the money. You know, showing them that, here's what we've been doing, here's what needs to be done, this is why we need this money.
Okay, so, that being said, are we prepared to show exactly what we would be using the money for? Is it a general operating budget to supplement it?
Well, I think what I had at least envisioned most of it for is tree removal up here, because there are a lot that need to be taken care of.
There are a lot that are in a precarious position in relation to this lodge.
I don't know if we call it safety maintenance or whatever, or whatever we have to do for, saying we need $90,000 for safety maintenance. And then that could account for trees and maybe some wiring and things like that. I don't know if we specifically need to put in, it's exactly for X, Y, and Z, but you know, here are some things that are highly needed.
Are you chiming in or are you rubbing your head?
I was gonna,
Well,
a
you know.
little bit of both.
Okay.
What I would recommend is instead of throwing a whole article of recreation budget, what I would recommend is break it down.
Okay.
Do one for tree removal, just like what we did last time.
So several ones.
Several ones, and then that way, if something doesn't go through,
We're
you
not,
don't
it's
lose
not
the
all
whole
or
thing.
nothing.
Right.
Okay. And would anybody want to, I would like to meet with FinCom,
27th of
August.
August, I think, because the 20th you guys are in Maud. So
Yeah.
What's gonna
maybe
be
we
Maud?
can, they're gonna be Maud on the
They're
20th.
gonna be full, they've got a full agenda already scheduled for the August
So
20th.
I would recommend if we, as a whole quorum, want to meet with them, with the board of selectmen, 27th might be a date for us to set up and kind of everybody pulling together, if they're available.
But you're not meeting as a board on the 27th as well.
Yes,
so
I am.
You're meeting on the 20th and the 27th?
later.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, that's how it's listed on your sheet.
So I guess this was to accommodate vacations and such.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what,
That's just my input.
no, it's great.
I'd like to know what's the agenda for the meeting with FinCom? What is the main goal?
Well, I'd like them to have a better understanding of exactly where our budget is and what it means to the camp, because with the septic payment that's required, you're basically bankrupting the camp if we keep the enterprise fund.
So how are we going to,
I'll go
how are you
through
going to
the
explain that
resolve
to
for
them?
Okay, you have a what?
Resolve, potential resolve for that.
Okay. I just want them to understand, I mean, you know, an enterprise fund, I believe to be a good thing for the camp. I think we can make it work. We now have a director that is proactive, doing a, slow start, but it's getting there, and we're gonna do programming, and
So does that all have to be contained in like a piece of paper? I mean, we have to have something for them, right? Or is this just an open discussion about,
it's a discussion,
it's just an open discussion?
because they're in charge of supplementing their budget.
They don't approve it, they can't.
They don't
just
approve it, but
can say yes or no.
They recommend.
Right,
And people
listen to them.
people are swayed by the recommendation as well they should be. They're finance,
Sure.
they're finance committee, you gotta listen.
That's the purpose of having a town show about it.
Exactly. So I would like to meet with them just to see that we're all on the same page
Right.
possibly with what really happens here at the camp and what it's going to take. Because I don't know how the budgets were in the past or what was what was happening with the money in the past. But it's clear that there were some big issues here structural issues, like the wiring and the stove and the roof and things that may not have been thought out for in the budget and addressed. And those are things that we need to do now.
Maybe something I want to say.
We have to have a line.
So I would like to have a meeting with them.
Okay, that's fine, but by August 16th, we have to have something into the board, so we have to reserve one line, 2 lines, whatever.
Right.
But usually the trees come under the tree warden, because that's what happened with the 25,000 that they finally issued up, but that came through Dave Hamlin, so that was really the tree warden that did for trees, so I don't know if you should.
But he did them for trees, that came out of his budget because he did it for trees along the driveway, so it was like a public
Correct.
safety thing, safety issue. Whereas the trees that we're speaking about are directly related to the lodge. Like those 2 pine trees out front, they fall, they hit the lodge, and that's a really bad thing.
And then for whatever reason, it has to be, I don't think it has to. I think anyone can say, I want to cut down that tree and I need $10,000 to do so. Any department can do that, essentially. But if for whatever reason, we have to go under the tree warden for that, I'm sure Mary wouldn't mind picking up the phone and saying, hi, tree warden,
Right.
we're going to put this under you, if that's okay.
He just prioritized it differently. He thought that was more important than this up here. I do think it's important on there. I don't know, I personally don't think we need to swath 47 trees, but I think we need to prioritize some of it. 46.
No, sorry.
One helped us out on its own, and it was very dead. So, anyway, if we want to write warrants,
Maybe placeholders.
You need a placeholder first, that's what you need to have in for.
Which is what he's gonna do.
so you're going to make a placeholder for the 16th.
Yeah, well, do you want me to make
I
several
think we
for
need to
that?
make several, and I think we need the 3 of us to discuss it in relation to the business plan.
Okay,
So, and I think trees is definitely
that's a big.
an issue.
That's
The
a
one
short-term
surrounding
goal,
you.
isn't that? That's definitely pressing, short-term goal.
Oh, yeah, just, because again, keep it the front, I mean, not only is it a safety thing that if the tree falls and lands on the lodge, right, we just lost our moneymaker.
Right,
Yeah.
or at least for a temporary period of time until insurance takes care of it, you know?
And aesthetically too, out there, because of just the way the trees are, I think if we're able to clear out that front area, do some beautification, it's just gonna make the front look more appealing anyway.
So I think what we do need to relate it to is, as you said, safety with the trees, but also putting back into the camp, because we've got a lot of washout and
Yeah.
things, and we do need to start addressing that, because it's gonna change the landscape here.
Oh yeah, it already is.
So it is, and we need to address it. And I know there are grants, and I know we can, and we will continue to pursue that, but I think we need to start now. So, several warrants.
Several.
So, do we need to speak to people about what each thing typically may cost? Or,
Well, right now, as Joan
it's a
mentioned, it's
placeholder?
just a placeholder, but I think that's a really good idea to get estimates of what is this gonna cost us, get 3, just get an idea.
Okay,
October, November.
So let's do a placeholder then.
Okay, so I'll put some placeholders in place essentially for the trees. Do you want me to do one for the oven? Do you want me to do one
I
for
would
the
like the
HVAC?
stove, I would like the trees, and for some plantings.
So,
Landscape.
Or what about the $10,000 to have the Conway School come out? If
we
they
could
accept,
request, we could,
if they accept our, because they can give us a comprehensive plan that we can go by year after year to sort of bring the environment around the camp back to where it's gonna be more sustainable
yeah.
and do what it's supposed to do.
What about the, all the damaged cabins, is that being handled under something
That's
else?
are you talking about the structural stuff out there in the
Yeah.
cabins?
For the north side.
That's being handled with the money that we have in the CPC grant.
Okay, so that's,
Then when we run out of that, we'll make a bigger list and we'll take another bite at CPC grants for that, rather
Sure.
than, tearing our own budget apart.
Well, we need to use up that money so that we can close out that on CPC and then
Go
back and figure out what we need. So.
So yeah, I will put together several placeholders. Again, trees, oven,
Plantings,
plantings, HVAC, roof.
maybe even some wiring. I mean, I noticed these aren't flickering now, but
Yeah, I did have, so we did have the electrician in today.
4?
Electrical's out in the craft cabin, in the boathouse. Motion's not working on the north side. I'm sorry, I don't think there's actually a motion on the north side, so we gotta get one installed there. The one on the south is not working. Had him look at the electrical cabins, because when the building inspector was out, he had pointed some things out.
That don't meet code?
Well, then he was worried it didn't meet code.
Okay. Is any of this cause, the things being out, like the motions and down by the boathouse, is any of it caused by vandalism?
No, I think it's, just old wires and just.
Yeah.
Yeah, because where he pointed, so where, across from the craft cabin is a small light pole that's got all the
Right.
hookups on it, and I guess they've had issues with it in the past. And that's, he was looking at it, he said, this is definitely gonna be where a lot of the problem stems from. So,
Make the list, and then,
yeah, I emailed him today, because there was all the stuff we needed, there was some stuff that the caretaker pointed out.
can we get some estimates, just round estimates for the electrical? Pick 3 things from the electrical. I mean, obviously that box is a priority,
Yeah.
and stove is a priority,
Yeah,
and the trees, and those things. So right now, we have 4 things.
yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, I
let's
haven't
just-
heard back yet, so John Carter, the roof guy, did come out and looked at everything, he hasn't gotten back on me with a quote. I told him, send me a quote, let me know what's going on, and we'll get that worked, so.
Brian?
Was Carter the guy from Hanson?
What's that?
Was that the one from Hanson or Bridgewater?
The roof guy?
Yeah. There he goes too.
I'd have to look, I think he might be Hanson just because he's familiar with the camp, and I think he's been out here before, possibly.
A lot of them have. I guess it was from.
Is- Good. I stopped.
I got those from Anne Marie.
Okay,
And she said that they usually respond pretty quick. If he doesn't respond quick, I would.
yeah. I mean, he's been out and looked at it, so I think I'll reach out to him again just to say, hey, where we at with the quote.
All right, so you're gonna put together some placeholders for the list.
Yeah.
Will you
Okay,
do that?
anything else?
Yeah.
Did he say what was wrong with the roof? Oh,
Okay,
Wait,
let's move on.
that can come on the facilities later.
Okay.
That can come.
Yeah, I can
That's
tell
fine.
him.
Miscellaneous correspondence, anything else?
Hold on. Yeah, because you're talking about articles and placeholders.
Right, well, that was in relation to what Mary sent out.
Right, but things have kind of jumped around.
Okay.
If I could, maybe, because you said you're seeing Todd tomorrow,
Yes.
I would just like to throw something out there. We have our enterprise account, which was talked about heavily at one of the meetings last year, the last meeting. And so we don't lose it, can you potentially ask him if there's a way that we can keep our current enterprise account, because I know some of guns are throwing it all into a general fund. It's already been announced. But incorporate either a revolving enterprise account or attach a general fund to handle all the capital work to be done at the camp. Almost like a two-layer thing where you take the money from the camp, any, lights, fixtures, events, programming, the smaller stuff, like under 10 grand, covers under the enterprise account, and anything above that would go into a capital. Something like the septic tank should have already been covered
On the matrix.
on the matrix, because that was back in 2010, it was on the matrix. So I'm wondering if Todd may be able to flip it and say, hey, this should have been covered by a general, the money was never put aside, let's see if we can bail them out. If I don't know if you
No, it's a
understand what I'm
great,
saying.
it's a great idea. I think we definitely should talk to FinCom though, too.
I would talk to him first, because again, he's the
Talk to
money
Todd
man,
first?
and if it can be
Okay.
done. then-
So looking at a way to keep the enterprise but add a general fund.
Right, or.
For
a
capital
revolving
expenses.
enterprise.
So that's money
Over a
that would
certain
come
amount.
from the town when there's an expense that great.
Because you know what? The reasoning being is that we are still a
Municipality.
municipal property. Our insurance is through the town. The town, we're accountable to them. So they have a stake in this place. So it makes reasonable sense that you back it up with some funding. John?
If I'm not mistaken, at one time on the matrix, 75,000 was approved twice for the septic system, but we never used it. So, I mean, it was approved, if I'm not mistaken, if we check back. And then I don't know who.
Well, that was before when?
Right, it was in the general fund.
No, it wasn't in the general fund, it was before, when we first started talking back in 2015 maybe, but there was 75, there was 2 years two meetings that 75,000 was put aside for the
Okay.
septic system,
That was
but
before I lived here, so.
Yeah, that was the main part, but I was just gonna say the enterprise fund, that, it's not determined that the enterprise fund is disappearing.
Well, that's
And
what I
no,
said, I
I'm
don't wanna
saying it was.
I don't wanna
Right,
be assuming that
Right,
that's.
I think that all they wanted was, all right, you guys have a plan, right? All right, we're gonna take.
So we need to get going on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so maybe let's,
No,
Okay.
just keep going.
all right, let's keep going. All right. The caretaker weekly list of items and reports. Do you have a weekly list of things that the caretakers are supposed to get done?
Well, going to the list that Brian made, so South End is done,
With all the beds and
with
everything?
all the beds and everything's been pulled out of 12.
Great.
Bob looked at it and he actually said the reason for the floor, so there's no tree growing up under it, but he said what's happened is that the corners have all settled. So because the corners are now lower, it started to bow
Okay.
back. So he said you could probably,
Prop up the corners?
we'd have to essentially jack up the cabin and then resettle the corners. And then he said that should help the floor settle back.
Settle eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something we would want Brian Smith's contractor guy to do? Or is that something that Ed, Bob, and Jack feel they can handle? Do you want to talk to them?
I'll talk to them to gauge their ability to do it, because I know there's another project too that they think is a little bit,
More important?
well, no, but beyond their scope.
Okay,
Not having to do with that side, but
The
something,
north end?
yeah.
okay.
So I'll see if that's something that they think they can do, then we'll have them.
And then
run
will
with
you
it.
reach out to Brian Smith?
Yeah. So again, that money that, it's specific for the north, correct?
Well,
So
it-
anything outside of that would be different.
But some of it was already used. When we gave back a bunch of it.
Right.
Some of it was used for the south end, for roofs and,
that was different.
oh, it was different?
That was before that.
Right.
The only thing we had was, down here at the north end, we had money left over, but we bought the screens.
Right, the box
We
screen.
haven't bought, I don't think we bought any wood, but I'm not sure about that.
No,
To
we
do
didn't,
the
not
shutters or
yet,
anything.
not yet, but we're gonna need
No,
some.
that's what that'll
Yeah, that money,
But this.
The CPC money that we have
So that one would be separate, right?
it would be.
Okay.
Okay,
So I'll have them look at that and see if that's something that they're able to do.
okay.
So again, we had people staying in the north side as well over the weekend, so
As part of a family reunion or no?
no, separate. Smaller family reunion, it's like a group of 4 sisters or something. Or maybe more than that, but they had 4 cabins. Off the top of my head, I wanna say it was 10, 13, 15, and 7 maybe. I might have those off a little bit. But whatever cabins they stayed in, Bob Jack and they, made sure that the screens were screened and, any holes or anything, they were patched to make sure that they'd be fine.
Great.
And obviously the right amount of beds were in there,
And they
mattresses.
were cleaned properly?
Cleaned, yeah.
Okay, great.
They started doing some repairs. They repaired the railing on the, I don't know what the heck I call it the Frontier
The
Pavilion.
The screen house.
Screen
screen
house,
house.
yeah, I call it.
That screen was really a mess.
Yeah, so they haven't started on the screen itself, but the railings were falling off.
Yeah, they
And
were.
so they fixed the railings, because that was one of the things that Bob Carter pointed out. He's like, I know people don't use it, but he said, you got one kid that comes running through here and falls off the stairs,
It's
like, you're liable. So
Right.
Fix it.
Yep.
So that's fixed.
Okay,
Picnic tables, we are rounding up the ones that are beyond repair to at least have them collected.
that's what Bill said on the way in.
We've also got several that have been collected that may just need a new board as a seat.
Okay.
So we're gonna have Ed and the guys look at them and just say, hey, can you doctor these up and fix them?
Great,
And I mean, Bill, he started to move some of the tables back, because again, with that large family reunion, most every picnic table we had was
utilized,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. And we've got launch day tomorrow, so weather permit, we'll have a lot of the caretakers again, cleaning north and south and making sure
Okay,
all is right with the world.
sounds good. Thank you for being organized on that, Joan.
Do they ever get the door fixed on cabin?
Cabin 1, yes. So it was, I think it was the next day after it was mentioned, they had actually already started fixing the door, and then that day it was fixed.
Done.
So that one is all set.
That's awesome. So the 3 of them are working well together?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have they taken
Okay.
any moss off of any of the roofs?
We haven't put anybody up on the roofs yet. That's potentially something we can look at for tomorrow. Just, I gotta look to see which caretaker we have, because just I know some are probably more able-bodied to get up on a ladder and get on a roof, and obviously I don't want anybody over the age of like 60 up on a roof, just
No,
because
you don't.
I worry about those things.
Yeah, you should. Absolutely. And if you want, it's gonna be really hot tomorrow, but,
But maybe if we get
Yeah,
started in
do
the
it.
morning.
right, and if you get a good day to do it and you don't think you have enough, call somebody and they'll want the hours, so,
Yeah.
as we know.
A
Anyway,
question possibly?
yes, Brian?
Yeah, on the list that Matt had, which is the south end, I guess, or whatnot, which is the easier end to fix, this was one that they filled out last time we were having it.
Okay, yeah.
The only question was, well, I know it can be, but could you or Maddie or whoever's gonna do this, potentially run like a matrix on it, so we know, like, this is board missing, this is done, this, like, all this needs to be done, but maybe run a matrix of when it's gonna be done, or when it could potentially be done, so that way, because this is kind of a list, but like maybe concentrate on cabin 2 first. Say you pick one day of the week, someone just works on 2. Just to kind of, because we might get another list in another 2 weeks or whatever that might have the same thing and nothing checked off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can start to figure out, I've been working that in with their, daily cleanings and everything.
Yeah,
So,
other places like.
yeah, so I know for a lot of that, once we get out of season, we can just start going through it and
Right.
checking all that up, just because again, that's, where the focus will be. But we can start peppering some of that stuff in like we have, but really, as we get out of season and we're looking for work to do, that's when we'll be able to hammer out a lot of it.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, with that money that we get for the north side, a lot of that'll get cleaned up and,
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping in the fall, those screens are done,
Yeah,
because we've been waiting a long time, and I know CPC wants to close that out.
gotcha.
Okay,
My other suggestion is where she made this plan out, she must have other copies of it. Every 2 weeks, if she checks off, like if the cabin is done like she did on one, she put, all of them were done, but actually the door wasn't.
so you just want it updated?
An updated one,
Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah, we can work off that, that was just the main base of, like, here's all the cabins, here's all the crap that's wrong, and now, yeah, like, as we,
Yeah,
as we get to it.
2 weeks from now, like.
Okay.
We have a week, do it for the, so that we have it all checked off as to what's been done. So
Yeah.
everything that's missing, we can keep a copy.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, it's gonna be gradual, just because, again, we're in season right now, that they're gonna be called to do other stuff, not specific to that. But we will start addressing all that, because again, it's stuff that needs to be done, especially the graffiti and all
Yeah,
that.
people stink. Okay, can we move on? Brian, you want to address Recreation Commission teams, co-facilities, and meeting policies?
But these are all the ones you have code as one, which would be.
No, I know. Do you want to go with facilities, or you?
Yeah,
did
please.
we-
It's a quickie.
Okay,
for
go.
the most part. Brian talked to the guy from Republic. What he's
good.
gonna do is do a 4-yard dumpster
Yep.
instead of a 6. They talked, if it needs to be switched out later, that's fine. I guess when the guy gets a hold of Brian, he's gonna give him a bill right away. And if, when they come and drop it, if you have them not drop it in front of the other dumpster, but there's 2 trees by the yard house.
So it's between where it is now and the cabin, or between us and the lodge?
No, right now it's sitting like right in front of the real house.
Yeah, no, yeah, with the, yeah.
So he's asking, once we get the bigger one, if you can move it, if you go to the right a little bit, there's 2 trees. And you push it back just a little and drop it.
Yeah, you can show them.
Yeah, I can show you.
Well, yeah, okay, so if we're looking at the big trash fence,
dumpster,
it's to the right of that?
Right, it's just the right of that.
Okay, yeah, I know.
That way they have to hit the other dumpster before they hit the recycling.
Yeah,
So all your recyclables aren't getting loaded with trash.
Okay.
He's also trying to get the carpenter down here on the 2nd
4.
for a walk through the north end, to take a look at the,
His guy
the
that's
supports.
working.
Right.
Right, okay.
He'd also like to still, if Bill has time that day, maybe walk through the camp with you and show you some of the stuff that,
Sure.
the visible stuff you probably already know, and maybe some of the stuff that you
Good to
might
know.
want to know. Right, you might want to know for the future, because when you address, when you're going in and you're doing things for town meeting and we're trying to get money for it, it'll be in the back of your head, and trust me, you won't forget it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
especially if you walk by it,
Right.
right,
I mean, you can walk by a lot of things and say, that's no big deal.
right.
But Brian is, if you have any facilities, he's your guy.
Yeah.
He just knows his
He's
stuff.
very good at it.
That's why he's trapped down the cave.
Okay, anything else?
Unfortunately, no
No?
I believe that's it.
Okay, Coke, we don't have anything right now, do we? Because we're not on a call, and Emma's not here, so we're good.
Any update on the ice cream?
Yeah, that's under expertise.
That's a separate thing.
Oh, that's a separate
Way down the list.
Okay. Anything up media, Melissa?
No.
Okay, and Joan, policies, we're gonna take,
You're gonna do that on the 13th of August, now, has anybody got any, bring
I do
ideas
have-
of what we need?
I do have just a point to make. That's 2 huge undertakings. What I really would hope is that for the policies and procedures, if we could just focus on certain ones, because we've thrown it around. We talked about things like, tonight Emma mentioned the whole lifeguarding, situation where there's.
on-call issues.
Yeah, on-call
And then we
issues.
have holiday wedding issues.
And then we had another, with that fiasco with the cabin rentals. The cabin rentals by itself, we need to rehash, like really, that, so I think we need to focus on, yes, remember that?
Oh, right.
So, review just one little aspect because it's overwhelming at this point. So I think one aspect, I want to make a suggestion that we focus so that we're not all over the place and we get one thing done. Because it was so pressing, I think that the cabin rental thing, let's go through that, let's read it and like really understand what that is, so that we're not sitting here spending 20 minutes going, well, is that, you know, like, let's read what we have and then revamp just the cabin rentals, if that's all right, because that we're not gonna get through policies and procedures that evening,
There isn't that much to discuss really on policies and procedures, other than when you get, like you said, to rentals. But every paragraph should be reviewed. I mean, we can do it at home and say, okay, I mean, we can all say, okay, we okay with paragraph 1, we okay with paragraph 2. It doesn't take but 2 seconds to get through all
But
that.
their discussion's gonna go on, because then we have to
You don't
decide
need
as
to have discussions on most of the paragraphs.
A lot of the policies, I know what you're saying, because I did policies and procedures for the last 2 years. A lot of them, probably 80%, if not
Are
more.
standard and they're the way they are,
Are done.
and they're good the way they are.
You might,
We need to revamp just a small percentage of
correct,
it.
Right, but you need to review it anyway.
Right,
It's
it's
not like-
always good to review it to keep it fresh in our heads.
and you only
Yeah,
get
so I
one
think
bite.
let's focus on that, because I honestly, that meeting is, I mean, there's 2 huge things on there, that I don't really feasibly think we're gonna be able to complete both
Well,
in
then,
its entirety, so,
Okay,
you know, so if we can focus on just
And the
So-
other
that
thing,
aspect.
we just need the draft, correct, of the business plan?
Yes.
right, to discuss at the meeting,
Okay.
but we have to meet
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
that draft.
Okay,
So,
let's see if my computer didn't save with what I put in.
That's okay.
Can I give you,
Accidents happen.
so I found
Okay,
another camp.
hold on,
Before we get there.
we're gonna move on. Yep,
just one quick thing about policies, the only reason why it's so important to get it done is because you got one bite, that's it, and you're sitting on it
for another year.
If we don't correct as much, we can't correct everything. It's
Not,
ridiculous.
and we're
Every
limited
year
to
we-
go.
Right, we've learned something new, we've moved over the last 3
Right.
years.
Okay, so right off the top of her head though, and I just wrote it down to on-call procedures for the code, when we have to do that, you know, look at that for wages and holiday weddings, you know, as a municipality, and the cabin rentals, and if our policy is someone here to greet them, if nobody else is renting, maybe we need to have some sort of a disclaimer saying our busy season is typically this, and, you know, whatever, we can discuss it.
A
Okay.
lot of that can be written up ahead of time too, if you have, like she said, if everybody has an idea, puts it on paper, then we can kind of roll together and,
Right,
you know what I mean?
so,
It's pretty quick.
Right.
It was quick every year we did it.
I think she wants to be more thorough and better.
Oh, no,
Yes.
I know, I absolutely understand, but
So, I think what she's saying is that for the meeting that we're gonna have doing the business plan, I think the only thing we're gonna be able to
You
do
can
on
break
policies and
policies out.
procedures is just the cabins.
but you can break it, you can say, you know what, let's not do policies and procedures.
And we can just do the
Right,
business.
and then you
I think-
schedule policies and procedures.
I
another
think
meeting.
that's wise.
I think that's wise as well.
Yeah, because.
Okay.
Whatever's easiest.
So let's do that. And that takes care of policies and procedures and business plan, correct?
Just a quick thing, I did want to, there is a 3 or 4 business plans that were made by other camps. I read through them. I highly suggest we take a look at each of them. Let's not reinvent the wheel, let's follow some of these, the ones that look good, the ones that sound like Camp Kiwanee. Let's go there and not, you
Well,
know,
can you send them to us?
yeah, I can send them to you.
Okay.
You can politely borrow some language.
Absolutely, I
Well,
think.
language is important,
you know.
yes.
Yeah, send it to Bill and have Bill send it out to.
Okay, so let me just
Just to follow the open meeting,
Yeah.
let Bill do it.
Just look at some of them, because I mean, some of the language is like, oh my gosh, that sounds like us. You know, obviously we'll
Okay.
tweak things, but.
So we will do that. That's a great idea, thank you. Hallie?
So the update is that food trucks and such have not got back to me yet, but I'm gonna harass them again tomorrow.
Thank you.
In terms of like the cabin, so we're gonna do kind of the same setup as before, that people,
Can decorate their cabin.
so they pay the $40 for the cabin, and then they decorate it however they want.
Is that what we did last year for you?
No, you guys did
More than that?
free. No, it was, the
No,
Rotary
It
Club,
was
we charged.
$40 a cabin.
I'm sorry?
It was $40 a
$40 a
cabin.
cabin.
Okay.
The Rotary Club paid that? Okay.
You should have.
Oh, we didn't, because we were nonprofit.
Yeah, I think businesses pay,
Yeah,
right?
business, that's why it didn't sound familiar. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
Okay.
Families also paid.
Gotcha.
Right, and there were some families that did a cabin.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we
And-
limited it to the south end last year. This year here, we could probably open it to the north end.
That's what we need to discuss. If it's bigger, do we want to, thank you, Joan, for bringing that up. Do we want to extend it to the north end as well? Last year, we said just south end.
Were all the cabins utilized and something?
Yes.
Pretty easily too.
Yeah.
The business network, from what I understand, is like chomping at the bit to talk to you about this. Not to
Hanson
mention,
Business Network?
Yes, HBA.
that's the Josh, is his name, I guess?
Yeah, he works at Edward Jones,
Okay,
and Laura knows him very well, and she's part of the HBA as well.
okay.
Now, mind you, that with the other rec director, that wasn't with really reaching out to other companies who weren't even part of the business network. And we had that whole side filled.
Yeah,
So if you reach beyond that, because there are quite a few businesses that aren't part of it,
right.
you could probably put both sides.
That's a good idea.
Right.
More money?
And, well, we just want to bring more people into the camp too. So we could even, at one point, I think we even discussed having the rentals in the south end be more younger kid friendly, and then really, the
Right.
people that really get into it, the scary things, the gory, have that.
Well, this is the
north end.
scary side anyway. of
That's the
projects, so
scarier
yeah.
side, exactly,
Makes
so,
sense.
you know what I mean?
Your
You're saying
extended audience too last year was little kids.
It was very young.
But then you know
So-
you have those middle schoolers that came, like my kid will come and they're like, oh.
Right,
I know,
so
seriously.
we could try to market that if you'd like.
Yeah,
Maybe get in touch with, that, I'd like to put that out probably the beginning of September.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
So if we decide to go in that direction, if you think it's possible that we could utilize that and to bring in the teenagers, maybe the drama kids that want to dress up like mummies and zombies and whatever else they do.
And we'd probably get some good volunteers out of it.
That's what I'm saying, so they could, and we should have a prize for the scariest cabin, we'll have the participants, the people that come to tour them vote,
Yeah,
and we can give some sort of a prize. Having cleared it, of course.
Right.
Just checking.
and I
Okay.
think if we have some sort of sponsor for it, I think we can set the event.
A sponsor would be better.
But I think even if we just have a sponsor that's, today's prize is donated by whoever. So if it's a cash prize, it's not coming from us, it's coming from,
Right.
Right,
Joe's
so
Auto Garage.
do you want to reach out to somebody or whatever? Okay.
Can you just check in with Beth really quick first? There's something about that sponsorship that kind of rings a bell in my head. I don't know what it was. Would you mind asking Beth?
She
She said
said in order to
something
give a prize.
Yeah, but
we
she
need to
said
get-
something like a municipality cannot have a sponsor because we cannot just promote one business, something to that effect. Could you just check with Beth? It's something that was.
Yes,
This might be a great opportunity to reach back out to Friends of Kiwanee, because it sounded like that they want to get more involved. And this might be a really great avenue to utilize their status for, accepting the sponsorship and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Beth is good. I just remember that. I remember her saying, as a municipality, we cannot promote any one business, so sponsorships are very, very difficult. It's a fine red line. But would you just reach out to her? Because I just remember that.
into the friend. She was like, oh. We'd like the Friends to actually sponsor it with a monetary donation for a prize.
Okay.
And if they'd like to have their own cabin or whatever, we could certainly give them a cabin without making, they're a nonprofit, exactly.
Yeah, that would be a good way to.
Right.
Then I get to where you're looking at 2 buses instead of one, like reach out to the police station, fire department, and highway department, so they get trucks down there. I have like a short list I can send you through the email, it's kind of
Yeah, that might,
something, kind of what happened last year.
well, because the
We had a
busing,
map, we had busing issues.
Yeah, I heard the transportation was a little,
sketchy.
There was.
But we didn't expect the turnout that we got.
Yeah,
It was
that was
quite a
crazy.
turnout. So we're gonna need to be prepared for that.
and it was what, 2 buses last year?
There's one
One.
bus last
We
year.
need
Oh,
to.
man.
When one comes, the other one, yeah.
And we're not
They
cheap.
need to be walkie-talkied and figuring out a rotating, just continuously.
Did we have like caretakers on each bus that were
No, we didn't bus monitor, we had somebody down at the
at the front?
front
Turn
and up
people
here,
away from it,
they
yeah.
just said the rule. But we can discuss those details
Yeah.
after. Brian, could you send him that
Yeah,
short
it's
list?
just, it's not huge, it's just a kind of an idea of what was done last year, what worked and some things that didn't.
Sure.
Okay. And then the cornhole tournament.
So, what I wanted to find out, because it didn't get voted on last night, I'm gonna try to go speak with Justin this weekend from Hanson Recreation. My small concern is just that they either won't be able to or, won't want to sponsor the whole event at $600. But maybe like with, donating the cash prize or something, they might be more open to that. So what I wanted to, make sure is that it's okay for, essentially for us to host the event, so we would pay the $600 to have like a cornhole here, but we would not get involved in terms of awarding the team. So I will,
Right.
I'll talk
Ask
to
Beth about
tomorrow.
that,
Yeah.
so.
I think you can put that, so as long as the Rod and Gun Club, they are hosting it on our behalf, you take basically the, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of the responsibility, you place that responsibility.
Because we're tied into the municipality.
Right,
rules.
so we,
So they can skirt outside those rules.
yeah.
Right.
And so in this situation, if it's $600, that becomes a cost of the event. So that technically can come out of, the proceeds. Because it's a net, you're looking at net proceeds, right?
Yeah.
So that technically is okay, as long as, that we don't have to dish out the $600 and we're not gonna lose it, hopefully. Hopefully we'll at least break even, because then if we have to find $600, that might be an issue, right? So I think as long as they're still sponsoring it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Not to speak for Justin, but he's been waiting for a phone call. I can't speak for the club, obviously, I'm not on the boards or anything like that, I'm just the ring safety officer, and it's about all I do there. But he's very much into kids, he's very much into this town, the gun club. I know people say, oh, guns, blah, 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 but that's not the way a lot of people see the gun club, unless you
Yeah.
live on Main Street or you're in a butter. But
Okay.
other than that, the gun club does a lot of stuff for the town, they do a lot of stuff at the food pantry, library, you name it, they're always donating.
Okay.
Justin has come up, this year our new mantra is pretty much Hanson first. So this town comes before any other town in the school. So
So let's hit them up.
I don't think you're gonna have a problem with it as long as you're reasonable with it, and as long as you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, he's gonna shoot you away. But if you have.
Shoot me away?
Shoot.
No,
But if you do, when he goes in, he goes all in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was, the time a few weeks back that I talked to him on the phone, he was great. Like, oh, thanks for calling, and,
So let's talk to Beth first, figure
Yeah.
out the plan
How-
before we go to Justin.
yeah.
And hopefully, and maybe we should have a kids cornhole tournament too, as well as the adult one,
Well, I think you can do it.
in the kids.
Well, I guess it's a little bit of a sticky situation.
All right.
Well,
we'll figure it
I
out.
mean, well, I mean, there's alcohol involved, but it's not, obviously they're not gonna serve kids.
No, they're
so-
not.
But I
And you
think
know
what
what,
you
if
run
you're
into
doing
is-
those beer gardens you were talking about, those are family events. I know my daughter and her husband go to those. and
Yeah,
they
what I
run
have to find out though is like, I don't know if they'd have to run two different brackets, because you can't have like two 12-year-olds playing these like 40-year-old guys.
Exactly, that's what we're saying, there would be an age if you're
Yeah.
14 and under over here, 15 and older over there.
The other thing too with the corn, like, one of the things that would be helpful is to be able to reach out to them and, find out their level of commitment. Like, for example, volunteers, because the more people that come to, to our events and volunteer, it gives us more of a support base.
So
You know
this is
what I
all
mean?
from the future.
So like, I know those guys, a lot of them volunteer anyway, so they're more than happy to volunteer. So, I know that you have a company coming in, but if we can gather some of those guys to come in, a lot of them might turn out to be good supporters of the events that we have. Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think the understanding needs to be that they're coming in to volunteer, to really to be, part of
Okay,
it.
the company that's running it, would they be receptive to having more volunteers around to do that?
I can find out. What I'll also find out is whether or not they would charge us more to do two different
brackets.
Yeah.
Okay, so find that out, because we really want to start advertising that.
Yeah, no, we gotta be, and that's why I'm gonna go see him, because he said, you know, come see me for breakfast on a Sunday at the
Okay,
club.
we don't need any more approvals for this, you're gonna run with it.
Okay,
Okay, because we've already approved it, so let's just get it up on the website as soon as possible.
sounds
And, you know, again, same with this,
We do have, we
flyers.
had a date, right? We-
Yes, we have a date of September 15th.
Yeah.
September 15th.
So we just need to get it out there now, so people can plan, and we already established the pay as $20 a person or something.
That's what we helped
Right,
with that.
so,
So $40 a team and.
which is great, so I think we just need to get it out there ASAP.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yay.
Ice cream social,
So the ice cream social is a no-go.
okay.
It's a no-go. Mary did mention something that was rather interesting, at which the Board of Health was kind of like, yeah, that we would allow. We've talked about it in the past, and I think if we could put this on the next agenda, just because I don't, we can't do much more here. If we can discuss, honestly, hosting a Serve Safe workshop here. I do know somebody from the town of Hanover. She's the, she works for their Board of Health. She's certified. She told me it was $55, a couple of hours. I can tell you could probably round up a bunch of people to
I
come.
would go.
I need to do it, so.
How long is the certification good for?
I want to say for my girls at the museum, it was for 2 years, and then they have to take some certificate.
A refresher,
Yeah,
so it's like CPI training.
yes, so,
Okay.
but the certificate thing is, I think we can even do it online, so I think one of my girls had to do it, because you only need actually one person. So here's the deal with the ice cream stuff moving forward. If the beach director and the rec director or anybody is at the head of that organization, if that person is Serve Safe, then they, like,
That covers everybody.
everybody, you
Okay,
can
yeah.
assign, you know, all your volunteers, because you have the knowledge, you direct them. So I think it takes.
Emma is Serve Safe.
Yeah, she
Okay,
is.
she works at Hanson, she works at the pitching post.
So here's the interesting thing about the ice cream. If that's the case, we can serve ice cream. All we would need to do is let the Board of Health know. We have to have a plan in terms of, you know, just to let them know, give them a heads up of how we're gonna keep the ice cream, how it's gonna be served. But there, Emma has to
Put it together.
put it together.
Okay.
And so
So then I don't think it's gonna happen this year.
You know, to be honest with you, I would think it would be kind of neat to put it during the fun day. When was the fun day?
26, I think.
The 26th, I think, was the fun day. I mean, I don't know what she's got going on for the fun day, but honestly, as part of the business plan next year, we need to talk about
Selling ice cream down there.
selling ice cream down there.
We do. Just so you know, logistically, so that the ice cream's in the freezer, and then you've got the gatekeepers, if we're talking about hiring another staff person.
No.
You're not gonna pull lifeguards off to sell ice cream.
No, we probably
So-
use a gatekeeper.
A gatekeeper.
Right?
So you'd use a gatekeeper to sell ice cream maybe during Adult Swim or something.
And
So that
specific
it's-
times,
So
yeah.
that somebody could go over and take over at the Adult Swim. And we'll let them figure that out, but for next year, that can be something that we discuss under policies for selling ice cream. Maybe?
Yeah, so I think that was part of the business plan. I was just kind of, just witnessing people, you know, in terms of like other places. So I had asked an ice cream truck vendor, you know, it was at Forge Pond. There were maybe 50 families, so, you know, that's a fairly large gathering. I'm thinking they made a couple hundred. No, they make a killing with that many families. So in a situation where we had 150 people at the Cove, I mean, that's a couple $100 a day.
So we
Just an
can
ice
look
cream.
into an ice cream.
Right, so I just wanted to make sure that
And they
everybody's,
have a freezer down there.
We have a refrigerator, it's actually my own. It's a refrigerated freezer, so, and it still runs fine. So we can use that, and hopefully, we have to look at just the staffing of it. That's the big thing. Because you can't use a gatekeeper to sell ice cream and then somebody's walking into the beach without a ticket. without-
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
we'd have to have 2 gatekeepers.
Exactly, but then again, you're talking about our budget.
Do we have to update their policies, or not, but wage and personnel, put that in their job description?
We would have to, yes. So,
Can I,
yes, Melissa.
this might be a long-term goal,
But maybe putting together some kind of snack shack.
Right,
And doing
that's-
snacks.
That's why there's a
ice
window
cream.
on the bathhouse.
And that would justify hiring a gatekeeper. If we sell more, we make more money.
Right, I'm not sure it would make it enough, but we at least need to look into it and try it
It's
out.
under the same umbrella. Once you get the serve safe, I mean, you can do that and
Drinks,
honestly.
bottled water.
And you don't need to be serve safe to
Cheez-Its, Cheez-Its.
You don't need to be serve safe to serve prepackaged food. We already covered that a couple of years ago. So we can do prepackaged popsicles, chips, and we used to do that at swim team.
Okay.
It's digging into an ice cream and making a
I
sundae.
mean, we could even do like
Just
just prepackaged like ice cream
But
sandwich.
you still, but I wanna say the Board of Health said that they really wanted
Yeah.
serve safe.
Hoodsies.
Yeah, no, they said they wanted serve safe. The Board of Health said it would be important to
Better.
And it's
have.
probably, it's just better policy anyway for us to be served, and
Okay,
Can we just put that on the next agenda, like a serve safe
Serve safe
workshop that we can, put out? Can we make any money off of that, or is that against the law?
probably that's a lot.
No, but I'm saying, like, if
Against the
we
rules,
had,
not
the policy, no, what I'm saying is if we had a serve safe workshop here, right? We obviously have to pay for the facility to be used. If you had it here and she ran it, I know, but if she ran it,
we'd have to pay her.
we have to pay her, but is there a possibility that we could?
They're
I
paying
would treat it just like a concert, you're paying the artist to come in to play,
So we just
charging, but they're leaving with a certification.
Right.
So maybe
But
add
they
a
have
couple
to pay
bucks?
for their
Is that-
certification, it's $55 certification
Right, just
alone.
Just say
So-
60.
So we pay 60 to pay for her time. If it's a couple of hours, how much does she want an hour? We don't want to lose money on it, we don't mind breaking even.
So, okay, so we can just tack on a little bit of a fee to accommodate the costs.
Right.
All right, let me,
Yeah,
yeah,
caretaker.
Might partner up with you guys to say,
So
oh,
can-
great, to get more people certified here at the town of Hanson, which is good business for the town overall.
Can you ask Board of Health if they'd like to partner with us in helping to set up that class so that we don't lose money on it? Maybe one of them would volunteer to train, who knows?
you have to be a trainer person.
Okay.
And I checked with Teresa, she is not.
Okay.
So Nancy Unger over in Hanover is.
Okay.
So she's got the actual,
Let's see what she'd like to do.
let me ask her.
Okay.
So again, I'm asking the Board of Health about teaming up to hold a serve safe class.
Yes.
And maybe even the Commonwealth's Department of Health would sponsor something like that.
Maybe they support stuff like that with a grant or whatever, you know?
Yeah, no, but a lot of, I mean, I can tell you from a nonprofit standpoint, like the Rotary Club, we would love that. Like when we did pizza here, we had to beg Mike to come in. He hired somebody, he was wonderful. He hired somebody to hand out pizza at a comedy night.
Right.
Because
They were
nonprofits were
serve safe.
Yeah,
Right.
so, we talked about sending a couple of our members to get that certification because it would help us out big time. So certainly lots of need for that.
Okay, any more discussion on that? All right, let's do Comcast municipal grant follow-up. That's usually a Brian Smith thing, he's not, anybody else have any info on that?
Yeah, just, things are, rolling along, I believe. I don't know if they've got the full green light, but I know there's the back and forth of putting together the final scope of work and getting it all approved. So I think everything's still on track that potentially by November,
Okay.
we'll have the, fiber in here, so.
That's,
And it's awesome.
I just can't even get excited about it because I just wanted, I'm not even like, I just wanted
Don't
to
raise
be
your
safe.
hopes.
Yeah, don't raise your hopes.
Oh my
Well, we got a grant for that, right?
I guess there's
Cautiously
a
optimistic.
Yeah, so we have
See,
money in the account for the Wi-Fi that counts toward that, that'll just get
rolled
roped
into
into
that.
it, yeah.
Right.
Now, it's been mentioned at the Board of Selectmen's meeting, it's supposed to come in from Woodman Terrace, then it's supposed to go underground to here, to Needles Lodge. Then I know it's supposed to go to the library, but I don't remember them mentioning any other locations within here at the.
No, it's gonna start with the lodge, so they gotta make sure where this is kind of the main hub. It's the most cost effective to get it to us first off of Woodman Terrace, because then they're gonna have to figure out running additional lines, say down to the cove, or What Ryan says, he might actually be able to use, he said he could shoot like a laser or something as long as he had a clear line of vision to
Over
like,
to the wedding cottage,
no,
to
to
the.
Emma. Yeah, 'cause the big things are so that the lodge and like the cove have it.
Have it, yes.
Before, it's gonna be ancillary and after the fact for people that, for guests to sign up for Wi-Fi. Like initially, it's gonna be just for operations so that we've got it.
And wouldn't it allow us to eventually, if we clear it with town hall, if that happens, to use scanning debit cards and such?
I don't think we'd need that for that. I actually have a meeting on next Tuesday with Jeannie and the credit card processing people.
I might use self-service, not Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah, however it works, I think where we can get online here,
Yep.
we'd be fine anyway, because we can hook it up possibly to the laptop. But yeah, I'm meeting with her because that was the one thing I said, we're having this event, there's no way to do credit cards and it up.
Right.
So, because of other things that have happened with I think with the transfer stickers and everything, in order to take credit cards for that, the town has to become a credit card merchant essentially. So we now have the ability, at least with
Right.
that stuff, to do it. So now it's just expanding upon that and seeing how we can do it.
Okay.
So that's what the meeting is gonna entail, is how do we get that ability down here.
That'd be
So that
great.
eventually when we're doing events, or say weddings and
People
stuff,
can
that
come in
people
and
can,
swipe.
yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
all right. Thanks for being up on that, because that's really important to hear. And Emma already gave the Cove update,
Yeah.
so,
Can I ask a question on the warrants?
go ahead.
Why do we get two bills from National Grid? I know one is only like.
One's $14.
One is $14.90.
The other one's
Why do we get two?
We get five.
Huh?
We get $5.
One is for the front,
Two poles, north end, and the lodge.
right,
Oh, so each building has its own bill.
so we break it up.
Okay.
The 500 is for the lot.
So it costs us more.
That's
It's
cheaper than my
amazing
house.
to me
I
that
pay
this
more than- I pay
place-
$700 a month, so.
Yep, okay. That being said, our next meeting is
August 13th.
August 13th.
And it's supposed to be just policies and procedures and goals, so.
It's just a business
So it's just
plan,
a business plan.
Right.
is the 13th.
She's already sent
And
it
after
out.
that, I think a regular meeting we were having on the 26th.
And then if you guys do the other one, we'll do the 27th.
Yeah, we were gonna try the board of selectmen 27th with the FinCom.
Okay,
We'll find out.
okay. The 27th for FinCom,
If everybody can do it, that would be a board of selectmen meeting.
okay.
So we'll go through that.
Let's put a agenda together for that just in case. Okay, thank you, Lon.
I think the invite comes from you. Go check them out, see if the invite is FinCom will come after you.
Yeah, yes, I will reach out to
And we do
FinCom.
everyone together.
I'll go down to town hall. Okay,
I'd like 3 years.
all right, well, that being, I'm sorry, Mr. Brockman. Okay. If there's nothing else, would
Motion to
anyone
adjourn.
like to make a motion to adjourn?
You did.
Brian made a motion to adjourn, anybody want to second that motion?
It's a
All in
record.
favor?
Finish before I